In the Galactic Council's archives, there's an old law called Decree 99. This law is worse than death. It means erasure, to remove the entire nasal cavity. 4,000 years ago, this decision was made for a single species, humanity. The Council's High Chancellor, a Valari with 3 glowing eyes, delivered the verdict that day. They were terrified. Humans were progressing too quickly. They possessed a grit that no other alien species possessed. The Council thought if Earth were erased from maps, their sun blocked, this vibrant nose would be lost in darkness forever. They erected a dark shield around Earth, a wall that would neither let light in nor out. The Council erased the word Earth from its history books. They taught their children that that corner of the Milky Way was empty, filled with only old debris. For 4,000 years, the galaxy breathed a sigh of relief. They thought death had won. They thought humans would have perished in hunger and darkness. But they did not know that darkness is not death, but a furnace, and man is iron. It was a cold evening in the 40th century. Celebrations were underway on the Council's capital planet, Athelgard. It was the Council's 4,000th anniversary. But their most advanced deep space scanners suddenly detected a frequency that, according to scientific standards, shouldn't even exist. It was an analog radio wave, old, faint, but stubborn. The Council technician decoded the signal with trembling hands. At first, only static sounded, and then a crisp masculine voice boomed. "Council, are you listening? We've spent 4,000 years in the darkness you've given us." Chancellor Vex looked at the signal and said, "This must be some old echo, a dead satellite. Ignore it." But the next moment, all of Athelgard began to tremble. Warp gates didn't open in their sky, but the sky itself collapsed, a technology beyond the Council's understanding. Someone had cut the space-time fabric like scissors, and from that vessel emerged not just a ship, but an entire war moon. Humans had transformed their entire world into a ship. After 4,000 years of darkness, they had written new laws of physics. That blue world had now become a metallic fortress upon which thousands of plasma cannons were blazing. Elias, the heir to a 4,000-year legacy, his picture appeared on every screen in the Council. His face was as stern as a stone. "We waited for you," Elias said. "You thought darkness would swallow us? You forgot that man first struck a stone to dispel darkness with light. We are back, and we want our sun back." The Council sent its entire galactic fleet. Thousands of ships, millions of laser cannons. But human technology wasn't physical anymore. They had weaponized space's own gravity. When the first Council ship fired, the human war moon released just a pulse. It wasn't a pulse. It was 4,000 years of accumulated anger. In one jolt, the engines of the entire Council fleet stopped. They all floated in space like lifeless debris. Elias said, "We will not kill like you. We will give you the same punishment that you gave us. We will give you Andhera." The High Chancellor of the Council, Vex, stared at the viewer. "You are ghosts!" he shrieked, his voice cracking through the comms. "We burned your atmosphere. We froze your oceans. No biological life can survive the great erasure." Commander Elias didn't blink. Behind him, the bridge of the Terra Nova, the moon-sized fortress that was once Earth, glowed with a cold, rhythmic cyan light. "You gave us a gift, Vex," Elias replied, his voice echoing like rolling thunder. "You took away our sun, so we learned to harvest the heat of our own core. You took away our neighbors, so we learned to talk to the stars. You tried to bury us, but you forgot that humans are the only species in the galaxy that thrives in the cold." The Council's response was predictable. Panic. 10,000 warships, the pride of the galactic hegemony, surged forward. They were elegant, needle-shaped vessels made of shimmering pearl steel. They fired beams of pure antimatter, enough to crack a star in half. But as the beams struck the hull of the human war moon, something impossible happened. The light didn't explode. It was absorbed. "They are eating our fire," the Admiral screamed. "Target their flagship," Commander Elias softly. The humans didn't use lasers. They used kinetic singularity, a technology born from 4,000 years of living in high-pressure darkness. They fired a single, solid slug of collapsed dark matter. It was no larger than a human fist, but it carried the weight of a mountain. When it hit the Council's lead dreadnought, there was no explosion. The massive alien ship simply folded in on itself, crushed into a tiny metallic sphere by its own gravity. Silence fell over the battlefield. The hegemony's fleet, for the first time in an eon, turned and fled. But there was nowhere to run. The humans hadn't just brought a ship, they had brought a trap. As the human fortress began to warp away, the galaxy watched in absolute silence. They had expected a massacre. They had expected a bloody revenge. Instead, they witnessed a lesson in justice. The humans didn't take over the galaxy. They didn't need it. They had built their own empire in the void, a civilization of iron and will that spanned the dark spaces between stars where no alien dared to go. Commander Elias looked out of the viewport as the Terra Nova entered the slipstream. For the first time in 40 centuries, he authorized the activation of the solar array. A massive artificial sun ignited at the center of the fortress world, bathing the metallic surface in a warm golden glow. "Commander," Sarah, his navigator, asked, "where to now?" Elias smiled, a genuine, tired smile. "Home. The real one. Let's go find the spot where Earth used to be. I want to see if the moon is still there." The galaxy would never be the same. The Council was gone, replaced by a haunting silence. But in every tavern, on every station, they whispered the new legend, the legend of the species that refused to stay dead. They learned that you can erase a planet, you can erase a name, but you can never, ever erase the human spirit. And for the first time, the galaxy understood what it truly meant to be human. If this story moved you, subscribe for more human stories from the stars.